I also got these. I'm trying to figure out. You said these are good.
Those are good.
I'm gonna give those a shot as well because I'm starting to get hangry. Oh my god, I hate when they double cup it.
Double cup.
There you go.
Depending on what sport you're playing, you need to double cup it.
Australian rules football, Australian rugby. You better double cup.
Australian rugby?
Did I say rugby?
You said rugby.
I got something wrong.
Syrup dripping from his fake
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Thursday, June 17th, 2021. Jersey Johnny coming at you, and with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
Hey, guys. How's it going? What?
I was just going to say, everybody out there that is pissed off that they had to wait till Thursday for the show, blame that guy right there.
Blame me. I come to you. You can see the backdrop is a little different. I come to you from the great city of Union City via Texas, Dallas Fort Worth Airport, American Airlines. I still don't know where my luggage is.
American Airlines?
Airlines.
Is that anything like Australian rugby?
I got a little bit of the Texas drawl. No,
Ireland.
I didn't. I think, tell you what, hot as hell down there. But got back just in time for National Eat Your Vegetables Day.
Happy Eat Your Vegetables Day.
Yeah, so I got a poke bowl. There's some
veggies in there.
Yeah, there's cucumbers in here. I got radishes in here. There's tuna in here. That's not a vegetable.
Tuna's not a vegetable. Last I checked, anyway, was not a vegetable.
This is also not a vegetable. Those I got dessert for later.
You want to eat that later? Not now.
I'm going to eat that a little later. I don't know why I peeled it already.
Because you like it brown.
No, I don't.
You don't like it brown?
No, I like them just this side of green. Anyway, but yeah, so it was a fun trip back from Texas. I was down there for work for a little bit. Got to visit some of the breweries down there. Have some okay beer and some great beer as well. So
we were not doing the show on Tuesday. He was enjoying himself in Texas breweries, sweating in Texas breweries. But
actually, Tuesday I didn't go to a brewery on Tuesday.
You didn't go to a brewery on Tuesday.
Monday and Wednesday.
There you go. So you got back okay? Your luggage, everything's good?
No, luggage. I just said, don't know where the luggage is right now. I did get a notification that the luggage was matched. So I guess matched means they found it and they matched the tag to whatever. So,
or they just found a matched set of luggage for you and they're going to give you more pieces than you left with.
Yeah, but unless it's got the Texas beer in it that I brought back, I don't know. They keep the luggage.
They probably. Well, they drank it first and then they're going to bring the luggage back.
They better not drink the damn beer.
There you go. Anyway. So, we have a guest today from Texas.
From Texas.
You brought him back with you to be on the show.
Hopefully he flew something other than American.
I think he's actually still in Texas. Should we bring him on the show?
Yeah, let's bring him on the show.
All right. Why don't you introduce him since you've known him a lot longer than I have?
So, everybody, we're going to introduce here the founder of every one of the Let's Talk Craft Beer Facebook pages out there. Groups. We call them
groups.
Right?
Well, the group pages, but
the group pages.
Right.
And this would be Mr. Stephen Nancarrow.
There he is, right there, folks. What's up, Steve?
Not much. How are y'all guys?
How's it going? There he is, right there. Stephen Nancarrow, founder of all of the Let's Talk Craft Beer groups on Facebook. And most of them are still named Let's Talk Craft Beer as well. Some of them are not, though.
Some of them are not.
Those of you in Jersey, you know which one we're talking about.
Well, before we start poking fun at the Jersey group,
no,
we will
setting it up,
but we'll set that one up.
Right.
No, Steve and I met because when he created them, how did you put it? You went around, looked out there in the interwebs for people in each state that were quite active in the craft beer world. Is that correct?
I would have thought it would have been another adjective you used to get him, but that's besides the point.
You had actually broken up. You froze up when you were saying that, so I didn't get to hear you.
Oh, did I freeze up or did you freeze up?
It might have been you freezing up because he was fine. So it might have been just your connection. So, in other words, he said you put it out on the interwebs. The two of you met because you put it out on the internet, looking for people that were active in the community in the craft beer scene in those states.
Yes, I started Houston one night, the Houston Let's Talk Craft Beer, and then about a week later I started in Texas, and then at night during the process of drinking, I decided to start one in every group in every state.
The best thoughts
And-
come from when you're drinking, don't
Oh,
they?
yeah.
Don't they?
Yes.
I mean, really.
And the next day, I started trying to find people in each state that would help contribute and keep the groups going. And I reached out, and that's when I found you. At the time, you were still the Beer Samurai
Yep,
until
on Facebook.
came in and
Yeah.
changed it all up.
He was a lot of things back then, too.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
still some of them now, but
Some of them can't be repeated on this show.
no, we can't talk about that. No. We can't.
And I had a really good friend of mine help me get them up and going. But, it's for the most part, I wanted to really I got tired of going out and trying to find a beer at a restaurant. Could never find anything. It's always Bud, Miller, Coors, and stuff. And I'm like, come on, there's got to be some good beers. And you ask them, they got any craft beer? And they say, yeah. They come back and they got Mexican Modelo. And I'm like, no, that's not really craft beer. So I had talked to a bunch of people, and they're like, yeah, well, this restaurant has it, and this restaurant has it. So I was like, there's got to be a way for us to be able to post for everybody to find what stores have it, what breweries going on, what restaurants are going on. And that's where the idea came from. And then it just grew from there.
There you go. Well, it was an awesome idea at that. That's for sure. So all the ones I know of anyway, they're pretty damn active, and lots of communication in them. So
Well,
there is. I'm still looking for other people in other states to help out. Some states are still kind of struggling. Don't really know people there. It's kind of hard to find the right person that will actually help it take off.
right.
Yeah, it was hard because I was in Rhode Island for a year, tried to get that one going. But Rhode Island has got already a couple of very active craft beer groups.
Right.
And to migrate them just wasn't happening.
Right.
They all knew. As a matter of fact, some of the terminology one of the terms we use on the show comes from one of those craft beer groups. and maybe I'll do it on purpose for my first beer, so we can show you what we're talking about.
Well, why don't you pour your first beer, and then we'll talk about that, and we'll go from there.
I shall pour my first beer now.
Pour your first beer.
Steve is driving, so he's in his vehicle, so he can't. He's responsible. He's a responsible drunk.
Exactly.
And he will not drink and drive.
He'll be drinking later, but
him.
He might have drank before, but he's not going to drink on the show tonight. So
right, not in
coming
the car.
to you, not in the car.
See, I couldn't even. Well,
It's close enough. It's close enough.
So when you over pour beer
with a
in
large
Rhode Island,
head,
yeah, it's referred to in Rhode Island as a Liz pour, because there's this one woman on the group just so exuberantly pours every single beer she's ever come across.
and it's more head than beer when she
Usually.
finishes pouring. So
I imagine that by the time the head dies down, all of the beers she drinks are flat.
So what beer you're drinking there? I'll throw it up on the screen for people.
Oh, this will be, and this is, I got to show this one because it's one of the coolest labels I've seen in a while. Hot Dog Time Machine.
Hot Dog Time Machine.
So it looks like the DeLorean and the Oscar Mayer Wiener vehicle, Wiener car. How cool is that? This is a collaboration between Toppling Goliath out of Iowa and Hop Butcher. I don't know where Hop Butcher is from. I just noticed that on the can. Should probably look that up. But if one of our producers is listening, maybe they can look that up for us,
Absolutely.
where Hop Butcher is from. But this is a double IPA. And John, you'd love this. You got to find this. I left where the hell did I put my glasses? Here they are. I could have done.
You had to get your cheaters on to read. So you
Need the cheaters on.
You just put it up to the camera, and we could have both read it for you.
Yes, because Steve's got his cheaters on already.
Yes, I was looking for them a few minutes ago.
There you go.
You ever go looking for them and they're right on your face?
On your face, yeah.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing that has happened that I've noticed that's happened to me during the pandemic. There's times where I go to put my readers on, and instead of putting my readers on, I put on my mask, or vice versa. It's like I got to go out and gotta put my mask. No, that's not my mask. Those are my glasses.
As you get the newspaper, you go to pick up your glasses to read it, and you put your mask on to read the newspaper.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm losing my friggin' mind. But this has got Vic's Secret, Simcoe, Mosaic, and your favorite hop, Johnny.
Sabro.
And there's some Sabro in here.
A little Sabro.
With all the rest in there.
It's my current favorite hop. It changes from time to time. At the moment, Sabro is my favorite hop. So. But, yeah. So how is it? Good? We don't talk much about it.
It's toppling Goliath.
Toppling Goliath, so it's good. There you go.
It's very good. The Sabrow's kind of hidden. Simcoe's kicking the crap out of everything in this.
Gotcha.
As Simcoe is wont to do.
As it should.
It is. Yeah, it's still the ruling champ, right? Reigning champ.
This is true. I'll be tonight. I'm drinking.
What are you drinking?
From the wonderful state of Minnesota, Modest Brewing, Fruitropolis. Fruitropolis. Yes, it's an 8%. I believe it's 8%, 8.5%, not 8%. Passion fruit, raspberry, pineapple, double fruited imperial smoothie sour. Say that fast 5 times.
Wow,
it takes longer to read the label than it does to drink the beer. So.
Yeah, really.
But I've been to Modest Brewing in Minneapolis. It's not too far away from Target Field, and it's a great brewery. It really is.
Tell you what, I told John I was sitting in a place in Louisville, Texas.
Not Louisville?
No, Louisville. Lewis. Louisville.
No. It was a joke. I was kidding.
And it's and I looked and I said, well, it's finally happened. And I brought the can home. American Airlines lost it. And hopefully it'll get to me because I have to try this thing. It is actually a pastry goze.
A pastry goze. You can't make this up.
We'll see. Eventually, we'll get pastry seltzers, right?
I think there are some already. I actually saw one on. I saw one on Tabor this morning. I'm not kidding.
Really?
I think I saw one on Tabor this morning.
Okay, I gotta look this up because I gotta see this. Gotta see this. So, how's your beer there, Johnny?
I had to take the cursory untapped picture first, right here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Man, I wish I was drinking one.
No,
yep, you know what?
Someone's got to run an errand for his wife.
That is indeed a passion fruit, raspberry, pineapple, double fruited imperial smoothie sour. I'll tell you that much.
You got all of that in one sip.
I got all that in one sip. No, it's really good. It's actually very tasty. Excuse me. And Modest is in actually. They've expanded into other states. They're in for anybody listening in New Jersey right now. They're in New Jersey right now. You can actually find them. You don't have to go to Minnesota to get the beer. Although I would suggest taking a trip there because there's a lot of good beer up in Minnesota and Wisconsin and everything right now. So, as there always has been. Anyway, what are you reading there, Samurai? You're reading something, or are you falling asleep? What are you doing?
I'm trying to bring up Tavor, Tavor, however you pronounce it, but
I say Tavor.
I can't seem to remember.
Tavor.
Okay, there we go.
We had that conversation last night on the sports show. We were one of the right fielders on our top 10 list was Al Kaline. Was it Kaline or Kaline or Alkaline?
Alkaline? Imperial West Coast Imperial Milkshake.
It was on this morning. They change on a regular basis, so it could have sold out. They could have removed it.
And we did find out that
it was definitely on there, though.
Of course, and it makes sense. Depends on what market you're in, what offerings you're going to get.
Sure, absolutely.
So, well, there's a seltzer. It is not a pastry seltzer. The Triple Berry Mosa. Is that it?
I don't think that was it. Yeah, maybe it was. No, I don't think so. I was definitely a pastry that I saw, but maybe that was it.
Ooh, they got a Drecker up there. Uh-oh.
They have Drecker, yeah. While we're on that subject, we got a comment in from somebody on YouTube. Mercy Beers. I'm assuming he's calling it Mersey Beers. Good evening. How do you feel about cucumber in beer?
Let me see. I got a piece of cucumber right here, but I'm not putting it in my beer.
You put it in your beer. I'm not sure that's what he means, but...
Oh, okay. You know something? I've had, and actually one of the cans of beer that's in my missing luggage right now is a sour pickle beer. Mm-hmm. So that counts, right? And was it Foolhardy? Foolhardy makes Pickelodian. Pickelodian is a delicious beer, but a straight up cucumber. I can see that working.
Cucumber. Well, I've had cucumber. I've had cucumber in beer before. Cucumber watermelon. I've had a couple of gozes that were cucumber watermelon.
Yeah, Cigar City used to make a cucumber beer.
Yes, they did.
That is
You're
correct.
Right. Absolutely right.
And it was actually refreshing. I mean, it was just clean and Wasn't it heavy?
Yeah, I wouldn't put cucumber in a double IPA, but I'd put it in a Gozer or Berliner Weiss or something lighter like
I
that. Sure,
definitely
absolutely.
would not put it in a stout.
No, no cucumber in Imperial Barrel Aged Stouts. You don't want that.
Nope, definitely not
It's
a stout.
Not going to taste too good. Or it's not going to taste like anything actually.
Ugh, yeah.
But in any event. Anyway, all right. Well, since you're not drinking, Steve, let's move this party on to you, so to speak.
Yes.
Let's before we get into some of the talk about everything online and all the groups and everything else, because there's going to be plenty of that. Just wanted to ask you, like we word it differently for a lot of guests, but we'll ask you straight out. What was the very first craft beer you ever remember having?
Very first one, St. Arnold's Lawnmower.
Okay.
Just because it's local here.
Yeah, it's a local beer for you. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which one?
And I was really just do what?
I said I missed that. Which one was it?
St. Arnold's Lawnmower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've had St. Arnold's. I don't think I've had Lamore. No, I don't think I've had it. But I've had St. Arnold's. But yeah, it's a good local brewery
I
for you.
was late to the party, as most people say. I didn't drink till I was 35, so that's a big shock to everybody.
Oh wow. Neither did I.
Yeah, no. Well, I guess I made up for you both.
Yeah, I
Days, 35 days.
35 days.
All right, 35 weeks, 35 months, whatever you want to say.
So
Anyway,
when I started to try to drink, I went out and said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, not drink any crap beer, I guess you could say,
Sure.
Just go out and try to. And I more or less started it for the sole purpose of trying to enjoy, not to drink, to get drunk. I mean, it will happen.
Right.
But, that's not the goal, when I started out. I just wanted to try a bunch of different stuff.
Never is when anybody's starting out. I mean, I don't recall any time that I ever started drinking a day specifically to get drunk. I knew it was more than likely going to happen, but it wasn't the actual reason to get drunk.
I knew quite a few people who actually do. They wake up in the morning, their goal is to get as drunk as they can.
I know a few of them too. Absolutely.
It was interesting. You bring up an interesting point there, Steve. When we, in our age, when we, got into craft beer, we were drinking for the flavor. We were drinking for the experience. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, the kids that are turning 21, they're turning 21 or like being born into the craft beer era. So they are using craft beer to get drunk.
Yep.
Right. You got these kids that'll show up at a brewery. They want the highest ABV IPA they can get.
Oh, sure. I can't tell you how many beer fests I've been pouring at, and kids will walk up and say, "What's the highest ABV you got?" They don't care what the styles are. They don't care what I have to say about them. Just give me the highest ABV. I'm on my way.
I paid my $40.
Missing the concept of craft beer altogether.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's disheartening to see sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's why anytime I come across, and I mean we're calling them kids, they're technically adults, right?
Sure.
By law, but they're kids to us because they could easily be our children.
Sure, it's all relative. My kids are older than some of the kids I'm talking about.
Yeah, same here. So when you take some of these younger folk, I guess, no more PC way to put it, and when I find someone who really is into the craft beer for the craft,
right?
You got to really appreciate that,
right?
And have a lot of fun with them. I remember we're sitting, Poor Henry's, God rest its soul, sitting in Poor Henry's and listening to this one kid, and he's got his kind of disciples around him, and he's the beer guru amongst them. And he's talking and talking. He's talking pretty loud. My friend Meathead looks at me. He goes, "So you're going to go over and correct him?" I'm like, Nope. I said, I was there. I've made the same mistakes. He'll learn. And it's funny when he finally figured out this is back when the Beer Samurai was the Beer Samurai thing on Facebook, and bigger than I was. Well, not now. I'm a lot bigger than I was back then. But at any rate,
I feel you on that one.
But he found out that the Beer Samurai was drinking Poor Henry's, so he comes in specifically to sit down next to me, and he goes to introduce himself. I said, "Well, I know who you are." And he's like, "How do you know?" I said, I've listened to you and your group and all that." He goes, "All right." And he got my utmost respect because he looks at me and goes, "How much do I have wrong?" And I went,
"I want to know what your answer was."
I looked at him and said, "You've got a lot down. You know a lot of stuff." I said, but this is what I've heard you say wrong. and and he's like, see, this is the stuff I need to know. He goes, because, I think I know things, and then, something happens and I don't know something. And, we were all there at one point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You sit there and you think you know the difference between an APA and an IPA, or you think you know the difference between a stout and a porter. I still don't know the difference between a stout and a porter sometimes, right? I just know one's thicker than the other, or supposed to be thicker than the other. Back in the day, there was a very distinct difference between it. That line got blurred. But so it's interesting when you come across the kids who are really in it for the craft.
It's the way the barley is roasted and malted. Or not.
No, I know that now.
Not for you, for people that are listening. You
but back in the day, the only difference between them was the stout was stronger. It was really the only difference.
Stouts were a little higher ABV, and porters were.
They were called stout because they were stout.
Sure.
Porters were called porters because they were brewed for the porters down the docks.
Mm-hmm.
So now we get into the etymology of beer. But anyway, we're supposed to be talking about Steve here.
Yes. We keep going off on tangents. No, we don't go. We ever go off on tangents? We never go off on tangents.
We just went off on a tangent about going off on tangents.
Exactly. All right, so rile it back in. Okay, what made you first? What made you first decide to start all these groups?
Like I said, I was just sitting at the house. We were trying. Me and my ex-wife were trying to get ready to go out to dinner, and I was like, it's just really frustrating when I want to go out and you're having a drink and I want to have a drink, but yet I can't find anything to drink. I didn't drink wine. I wasn't a wine drinker. I didn't like the flavor or the taste of it. And, but I really wanted to try a beer and I just was frustrated. So I went home we went to a bar after a couple nights of drinking. I started really thinking about it really hard. And I'm like, I want to start a group that'll help me and help everybody else who really wants to know what stores, what restaurants. Because here in Texas and Houston, it's really hard because of advertising. They can't really advertise a lot of stuff. Now, the laws have changed a lot now, but back when I started this in 2012, those laws were really strict. So you really could not advertise, but wineries could advertise, but breweries couldn't.
Right.
That's weird.
Yeah, this lovely blue law we have here.
Mm.
And they've changed a lot of it now, but at the time, it was really hard. So that was the main goal, was to set out for breweries to be able to post what their beer for free, basically. Have to pay advertising for bars and restaurants, and just people like me and you that really love it and want to know where it's at. Where can we find it? And I had no idea that it would start out to grow into what it has become today. Almost 10 years later. And I sit back sometimes because I don't drink that much anymore just because of medical problems. But it amazes me when I see the requests coming in. So many requests every day for joining the groups, whether it's from Texas, New Jersey, or Florida, or California, or New Mexico, or Nebraska. It just really continues to grow and grow and grow. We've actually had other little small cities open up their own, like San Antonio and Austin has their own craft beer, which I didn't start, but they kept the same name just because it's an easy name to remember.
Right.
And same thing with.
I saw one for DFW while I was down there.
Yeah, DFW started there, so Dallas-Fort Worth area. I have Houston. That was the first one I started, was Houston Let's Talk Craft Beer. And it grew pretty quick, but nothing really crazy like Texas did. Texas just really took off. I think total amount in all the groups, we're probably about 30,000, maybe 40,000 members.
Is it still the biggest? Still the biggest of the groups?
Texas is still the biggest. It's probably about 11 or 12,000 people.
Wow.
I think I saw
it grows and it slows down. It grows and it slows down.
Florida's growing pretty big right now. What were you getting, like 9 to a dozen a day?
Right.
And I think it's because there's a new the podcast down there, and I think that they're really drawing people into the group.
Yeah,
that's right. You were telling me about that.
I get a lot of notifications every day for Florida.
Yep. And it's funny because my brother was I talked him into being the admin for that for a while. And for some reason, a couple of weeks ago, someone decided to make me admin. So I think my brother decided. Yeah, for the Florida one. So I think my brother decided to pass the baton because he's not doing much with it.
Right.
So we're gonna so that you know I am now one of the admins of the Florida group, and we're gonna be having I got to get some people involved in that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I got to get my buddy involved in that one. If I can get him on, you'll see that group go in leaps and bounds.
What is that one at right now about?
Let me check real quick. I really don't know. To be
Forget what that
honest with you. I can pull it up real fast for you.
But if I can get Bob on that group, he knows almost every brewer on the west coast of Florida.
Yeah, right now it's only like 714.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
exponent. It's growing percentage wise. It's growing probably faster than most of the other groups
Gotcha.
because it's just been an influx over the past week or so. And it's not because
Right.
I became admin. It's because
I was going to say,
it
I
has
don't think that
nothing
has
to do
anything
with
to do with you, Dave.
No, it's got to do with this one podcast that does a lot of advertising on there.
Good for them. Good for them.
And
Yeah, I
they're
saw that.
right.
Absolutely.
What do they
Yeah.
call themselves? Brew something.
You're the admin. You should know these things.
I should know these things.
Steve found that number of members of that group. You should have known that. You should have pulled that number off. 714.
That's 714.
I knew it.
What the hell's the name of these guys? So it needs it's called the Brew Experience.
The Brew Experience. That's right. You did say that. You did tell me that.
It's a U with two dots over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So that would
we-
be
we got
the
stuff
hardest
there.
thing
umlauts
is
over it.
Umlaut.
the hardest thing is all these fake accounts that keep trying to join all the time from like Vietnam. It cracks me up. It's got some little kid's face and it says, "Yes, I'm from Houston." That's like, no, you're not.
It's funny though because we had one when I was admitting the Jersey group. We had one guy from I think he was from Russia or one of the Soviet bloc countries to join, and I'm looking at it going. It's like, well, why do you want to join this group? And he said something about American beer. It was, broken English. And he just sent me a whole bunch of pictures of what he was drinking. I'm like, oh, yeah, we need this guy in the group. So at first, I really thought it was a fake account. But that guy became pretty active for a while. But then, as you know, the Jersey group kind of, they went down the toilet there.
Oh.
Yeah.
That group.
That's an unusual group. It's funny is
You think?
I can't even type in New Jersey Let's Talk Craft Beer because they've changed the name so many times.
It went from New Jersey Let's Talk Craft Beer to New Jersey Let's Talk Craft Juice, and now
New Jersey Let's Talk White Russians.
Let's Talk White Russians. Yes.
Well, the thing is, I jokingly, if you remember, I was kind of done with them because it was almost a full-time job trying to admin that group.
Right.
We had, I had to kick people off for sexism, racism.
Oh, yeah.
I've been called out a few times to go meet somebody at a bar. It's like, oh, grow up.
Right.
One of the best ones that happened was there was this one lady, and I'm going to use the term quite loosely, who would always post up stuff with a beer and usually a quasi-exposed body part.
Right.
I remember her. You remember this one?
Yeah.
She had a can of boat beer once shoved down her cleavage,
Mm-hmm.
but the one that caused all the problem was she was sitting on a bench facing away from the camera,
Mm-hmm.
wearing nothing.
Right.
And there's a bottle of beer next to her. I took it down. Of course, I got accused of being gay, of being a fascist, being a Nazi, all these other things, and I finally said to the ones that were complaining, if any one of you jackasses in the next 15 seconds can tell me what that bottle of beer was, I'll put it back up. And what it was, and it was great beer, was a Midnight Sun's barley wine. She drank fantastic beer. I had to give her that, but it's like, and I said to him, I said, look, if you want this, beers and boobs.
Right.
You
See,
know,
what you didn't say, though, is that you friended her on Facebook before you took the post.
No, I didn't.
No, not for the pictures, for the beer she drank.
Oh, yeah, for the beer she drank.
You
The
did
beer
a trading
trading party.
didn't you?
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. But they still give you adjective from time to time, huh, Steve?
Yeah, it's just weird. I get in trouble from Facebook all the time for the fact that they keep posting stuff that's either goes against Facebook's community standards, you know, and I get notifications. They posted something one day and it was reported. Facebook sent me a thing saying that the group is in violation, that it could be closed down. I'm like, really, people? I mean, it to me it's childish, you know, but whatever, you know.
Well, the group is and I love my home state dearly, but the group is very indicative of the Garden State. I'll give it that. It's who we are, and if you remember, I got sick of it, and you'd ask me, well, who do you think is, you know, active enough to run the group?
Right.
And I jokingly said Scott Wells, because he once said to me, he goes, yeah, if I was admin in this group, the first thing I would do is I'd delete it. He did anything but delete it when he took over as admin of that group.
Funny thing is, he can't delete it though, which is good.
So yeah,
maybe that's why it's become what it's become.
He may have tried. It didn't work, so he figured can't beat him, join him, just switch it up, just go the other way. Yeah.
Texas started to get a little out of control, but the group has a really good admin. We've got, I think, 5 people that are in there, and they're pretty good about it. I mean, we're on it all the time. We watch. We do have some crazy people that post stuff that usually is controversial, but we remove it really quickly. And it's helped us change that group from what was becoming a shit show to actually being what it is now.
Right.
But it doesn't take much. I mean, you know, funny thing is, when you start thinking about it, people are drinking. That's usually when they're posting. And usually when people are drinking, the stupidity comes out.
Of course.
I've been
threatened.
I've been sent all kinds of messages. And most of the people I end up becoming friends with after, you know, because I'm like, dude, you're drunk. Go home. You'll regret it in the morning when you see how kind of an ass you were the night before.
Right.
And they ended up, commenting, saying I'm sorry and stuff like that. You know, I didn't mean to, but, you know, it's alcohol. That's all I look at.
Yep.
It's alcohol talking.
That's what it is.
Instant asshole, just add alcohol.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, there was one person, he'll go nameless, but him and I would butt heads constantly on the group. And finally, him and I wound up at the same page. We sat down, wound up buying each other drinks. Good friends coming out of it.
Right.
You know, it's really hard to be douchey to somebody when you're face to face with them. Over the keyboard, it's real damn easy, right?
Oh yeah, those keyboard warriors are the best out there.
Absolutely. Hide behind the keyboard. That's it. Yeah, it's crazy. But how do you talk a bit about? Well, actually, let me ask you this first. What's the biggest? Obviously, Texas is one of the bigger ones. What's another bigger group?
Colorado. Colorado is really big. New Mexico is growing really big, which is
really
it really is. And I don't ever have any complaints with New Mexico. They seem to be running perfectly smooth, quiet. There's nothing I get. Colorado, I get some stuff all the time, but New Jersey's just New Jersey's every day almost.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Okay, because it looks like our producers took the night off or forgot that we were on Thursday.
On Thursday, yeah.
And I just looked up Hop Butcher for the World, it's called. It's a brewery out of Darien, Illinois.
That's right. Hop Butcher is in Illinois. Yes, it is. No, I knew it, but I didn't know it. You know, as soon as you said it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I knew that.
No, I did know it. I did. I mean, I didn't know it. Because if I knew it, I would have told you. I wouldn't have made you look. But as soon as you said it, I said, oh shit, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They're in Illinois. Anyway, yeah, no, Colorado's very active too. We post a lot. Like I said, I told you before, we post a lot in Colorado. The gentleman's on the sports podcast. We did when we started the Lager Room. It was a craft beer podcast and a sports podcast. They have now split. The Lager Room is the Lager Room Guys. That's this podcast, and then the sports podcast is called Get On With It.
And it's very appropriately named. I've watched that show. I'm like, would you just get on with it?
Get on with it.
Sure.
But
it's the middle of it's baseball season. Why are we still talking basketball? Get on.
Exactly. Well, it's basketball playoffs. We got to talk about.
No. It'll be off season. You guys will still be.
Well, we talk about. Well, I mean, we're not going to. Yeah, from like July to September, we're not going to talk basketball or hockey. But
promise.
Yeah. Why would we? Maybe during the draft or something like that. But that's about it. But in any event, yeah, Harry Lugnuts on the sports podcast or whatever. That's his
Stage name.
That's a stage name, if you will. It literally is a stage name. It's his name in his band in Denver.
And our opening song is his band.
Yeah, that's actually the song that you heard. That was
Log.
Yeah, the name of the band is Log, and the name of the song is the Big Toe. So
It's
anyway,
the Big Toe.
the Big Toe.
It's the Big Toe.
And that's him singing too, by the way. But yeah, he's in Denver, and he's knows a lot of people out there, and he's always at Bierstadt and True Brewing and a bunch of others. So.
And he's done nothing to help us get any of those people on the show, Harry.
We got to get out there. We got to get out there. We can do the shows. We have invitations to do the show from there. We just haven't gotten anybody.
We
on
have
the
invitations to do the show from so many different places, but we're just coming out of the pandemic. We're not moving around too much just yet. So we've got a few places we've got to hit that are more local before we start
flying halfway across the country to do a show. So
yeah, we need a budget before that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Once the coin starts rolling, and then
maybe if we stop paying Brian as much as we pay Brian,
we gotta cut back on his salary.
Well, seriously. We've quadrupled his salary.
We did quadruple his salary, then we pulled it back a little bit. So
that's right. We did cut him back.
Yeah, 4 times 0 is still zero, so it doesn't matter. So, in any event, all right. Another tangent we went off on.
Yes,
it just seems to be a lot of them. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No, so Houston. Now, I know Houston's had a few breweries in the craft beer industry in the craft beer world for a little bit. What's the one that's named after the area code there? 502 or
903?
No, that's in Austin.
Oh, that's
512.
Austin. 512? Is that the one that makes a pecan porter?
Yeah.
I thought that was Houston. Damn, got that one wrong. So, okay, well that completely destroys my whole point. But what if you? So
what you were gonna say was
I'll rephrase the question. So let's get a little more hyper local as far as Houston's concerned, because Houston's of all of Texas is one of the most progressive cities in Texas, right?
Houston, yeah.
Yeah, I mean without doubt, it's the most progressive. So the craft beer. Did the craft beer movement start there? Well, the craft beer movement in Texas probably started with Shiner, right?
Yeah, it just depends. I mean, a lot of people don't really consider Shiner craft beer anymore, just because they brew so much. But St. Arnold's really here in Houston was the number one for. I mean, it's a big brewery now. I mean, it's really growing. Buffalo Bayou is growing. They're really big. I do like a lot of stuff they have. You have Carbach, which they were bought out, but still they're producing really good beer. But I mean,
I had a few Carbachs while I was out there.
As much money as they were offered, it'd be hard not to be able to buy out.
It's funny because while I was there, I was trying to avoid a very specific beer. Drinking a very specific beer because I hear it's like one of the number one beers in Texas, so I was trying to avoid it. But then when I got to the airport, I couldn't avoid it anymore because it didn't have that much on tap. Dallas Blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all he's got to say about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you like that one?
Fill me in later.
It's all right.
It's all right.
I've had it. It wasn't one of my favorites. I mean, I've had it a couple times. I'm not gonna lie and say I drank it a lot, but I've had it, more than probably I should have in the past. Yeah. But it's not my taste, per se. But I know a lot of people love it. I mean, they go.
Well, I would certainly try it unless Jerry Jones is the one that's brewing it. Then I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's safe for me. No. I just couldn't.
You're safe saying that to a guy from Houston. You better be. If we have Rick on the show, you better be careful with that. But no, what I look at Dallas Blonde as, it's kind of that gateway beer in Texas. It's what everyone who would normally be drinking Budweiser or Coors Light, they gravitate towards the Dallas Blonde.
Right.
Right. And a lot of people, I mean, I think every brewery should have their gateway beer. I mean, it's funny when I used to be able to go out to the bars and stuff, it would crack me up. You would have somebody who really doesn't drink at all, and they'll walk up and they'll order what everybody else is. What is he having? What this? Well, I'll take that. Okay, I'll sit at the bar and just watch and see the bitter beer face come after him. I'm like, okay, there's an easier beer to drink to get used to it before you just jump off the side of the cliff. Because, sometimes there's no going back. Once you're there, you're there.
Now, the one thing I learned while I was down there is the whole haze boy movement has made it down there. All these hazy IPAs become a rage down there. I was at Odd Muse Brewing. They had a lot of hazies. And I know that Revolver's got a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that I heard down there, and I told John about this, someone said there's breweries down there that are brewing with yogurt. Have you heard of this?
I haven't, but to be honest, I haven't gone to the breweries in a while. I mean, I still follow everything that goes on and within the beer stuff, but I just haven't gone to any. I'd like to be able to go back, but no, I don't think I could even attempt to drink a yogurt beer.
You know what? I haven't heard of that, but it doesn't surprise me because now you're talking, milk sugars and sour yeast. Is basically so.
Kill two birds with one stone, right?
2 birds. So you got a sour milkshake.
No. I think I'll just stick to my regular milkshake.
Yeah. I'm hoping the person told me that wasn't just. Well, I hope they were just pulling my leg.
Nothing surprises me anymore. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked to hear somebody in Florida is brewing with alligators. I really wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me.
Alligator testicles, right?
Even that, yeah.
Yeah, just like the buffalo testicles that Wynkoop puts into.
Absolutely, I've had that beer.
Yes, you have.
I've had that beer.
It's funny to see. I mean, I love the creativity that people are doing now with their craft beer and all the different ways they're trying to make it, but it just some stuff when you hear and you read about it, I'm like, are you serious? I mean, okay, you're going a little too far now. I mean, slow it back down, bring back because really you put so much money and so much effort into it, knowing that it's not going to work. You just wasted money. I mean, that's just
absolutely.
Me,
Well, no, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. We actually have a comment on these flavors profiles actually right now. I'll throw it up really quick. It's one of our producers, Matt. He would like some beer-flavored beer, please.
Matt is a Belgian beer aficionado.
Yes.
So when he says beer-flavored, he means Belgian beer-flavored.
Or just beer-flavored.
Probably just beer-flavored. No, because he's also big. He likes the lagers. He likes the pilsners.
Absolutely.
So I'm just teasing him. But, yeah, there's been some crazy beers coming out there. From everywhere. Really and we've got a brewery up here. For the first 5 years, the owner was allowed to, as he puts it, indulge in his fuckery, which was basically
say his name 3 times, please.
No, we won't say his name even once, because you say his name 3 times, he magically appears on the show. Yeah. We're not going to do that. But I think about the first 5 years, he indulged himself in one beer that he knew he'd lose money on. Mm-hmm. And one of the craziest ones, we won't even talk about the ones that smelled like baby diapers.
My God. There was one beer he brewed that literally, it tasted delicious.
Oh, but fantastic.
You could not smell this damn beer. The only way to drink this beer was to hold your nose while you took a sip and then pull the glass far away from your face, let go of your nose, and taste it and swallow it. I'm not shitting you. That's the only way you could drink this beer.
It was a green apple wasabi beer.
It was so bad.
Oh, man.
Smell-wise.
So
good.
Beer. Love the beer.
Yeah.
But the one that he did that was just insane, and we had taken it down to Hunapoo for the first year that Carton Brewing made it to Hunapoo. It was called Gilded Lily. It was a white truffle beer.
Yeah, that beer is so good.
A Belgian style that he put white truffles in, and the first year he did it, he wasn't using truffle oil. He was using whole-ass white truffles.
White truffles and put it in. This beer is it was the most expensive beer he ever brewed.
He could have charged $25 a can and lost money.
Yeah, six stools were over $200.
Yeah, it was. Oh God! But the beer, and the other problem with it is you drink it, the truffles will start coming out of your pores. So you get really nervous walking past any place that had pigs. Because they're just gang rape you.
Exactly. But he did invent a new beer style, and he has done that several times anyway. But
he called it a truffle ale, right?
A trupful, a Belgian
Truffle.
trupful.
A Belgian truffle, yes.
A Belgian trupful. Yeah.
Yeah, he's invented a whole lot of styles. There's actually a few styles that are now considered legit styles that he pretty much invented. The session ale, boat beer, has been around longer than any of the session IPAs
He
out
brewed
there.
boat beer before all day IPA was a thing.
Yep,
he did. And then he's got a line of Berliner Weisses, and he calls them Highlander Weisses, because he's in the Atlantic Highlands, and he's not in Berlin, so they're not Berliner Weisses, they're Highlander Weisses.
Because he understands the nomenclature of German beers. You take the name of the town and add an Right?
Right.
So, Steve, now if say we're to come to Houston,
which I will be there in 2 years from last month. That's my plan at the moment.
Plans ahead. Right now, if we were there today, because it's going to change in 2 years, we were there today. The 3 breweries we have to visit if we're in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'd for sure Brash.
Brash,
okay.
Yeah, Brash or Brash. It depends. My friend called it differently, but Brash Brewery. They're really good. They're very hardcore.
So they're very brash.
Okay, so
they're very brash.
define hardcore. Are you talking like high ABV, or they're just deep into the IPAs, or they
play a lot of Slipknot. What is it? Yeah.
Well, you'll have to go to their Facebook page and really read some of their stuff that they do. They get a lot of Christian type followers that don't like them.
All right.
So
Slipknot, Lamb of God. That's what the
Nice.
Yeah. Them, I would say Buffalo for sure.
Okay.
Buffalo Bayou. They're really good. I love the guys there. They're fun. Haven't been to the brewery since they opened the new one yet, but they've got some really good beers that they make. And at one point, right after they opened, they had produced like almost 20 or 30 beers. Really? And they're just constantly pumping them out. But the beers that they've been making have been really good quality. It's not like some of the other breweries out there just pumping everything out and you get it and you're like, okay, yeah, I can drain pour this one.
Yeah.
But they've actually been making some really good stuff. The funny thing about Brash Brewing, I'll go back to them, is some of their names of their beers is, let me find it for you. It's a pretty funny one. I don't know if you can say it over your radio.
You can say it. Go ahead.
Oh, we've had some, yeah.
It was called like Pussy Wagon or something like that.
There you go.
Yep, Pussy Wagon. That's what it is.
Hey, there was a song in a kid-loved 70s movie that the song in the movie said Pussy Wagon. So
that would be Grease.
That would be Grease,
White Lightning.
Grease Lightning, yeah.
She's a real pussy wagon, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an American IPA. But it's really good beer. It's just, the names is what just throws it off for you. Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I want that one, but they won't say the name of it.
You would expect that from Horny Goat, but not a good brewery.
Yeah, they...
Nothing. Yeah.
Brash is good though. I like Ben. Ben, he's just one of those guys that just doesn't care whatever other people think. He's going to make his beer. He's going to make his brewery the way he wants, and a lot of people just don't like it because what he envisions as his brewery. But if you don't like it, shit, don't go.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
That's
Perfect.
If you like it, go. You don't like it, don't go.
Yeah.
That's it.
And a lot of people don't like some of his beers. They say it's overrated, but at the same time, you don't like it, don't drink it. Shit. Nobody's forcing you to do anything in this world.
Exactly.
It's all
well, John, you know what my Untapped saying is, right?
What's your Untapped saying?
The Untapped, the statement that I've got up there is: drink what you like, let others drink what they like. Don't be a douche.
I know it was. So.
Yes, you know that one.
I got
unless it's hard seltzers.
Yeah.
My
and then we will be
on Untapped one night when I was in the garage and I was drinking. I was like, I'm going to add these beers that I had because I just started to Untap, and they basically would not let me post because I was adding. a crap load of beer that night, and they're like, "There's no possible way you could be drinking this much beer at one time."
That's funny.
Because I used
That
to
is
collect
funny.
every bottle from the different beers that I would drink, and my garage when I moved, at that point I had like 3,500 different bottles in there.
Oh my God.
And it became a really big hassle when you had to pack all 3,500 bottles up and move with you. And I'm like, okay, this is not going to work.
I used to save every bomber that I had. Anything that was 500 milliliter and above.
Right.
And back in the day, it rarely was a 500 milliliter. Most of the time was a 22 ounce or a 750. And I used to save, every single one. I wouldn't save doubles, but I would save every single one. And I had so many boxes. And, let's put it this way. They fell by the wayside. I won't say how right now, but they fell by the wayside. Dave knows.
Yeah.
And I did not start it again. So
his house burned. His house burned down.
Well, there you go.
So melted all the glass bottles.
And everything else in it.
Yeah.
But
and I thought I was bad because I saved every bottle and can of Dogfish Head back in the day when I was a big Dogfish Head whore.
I was the same. I had a ton of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a picture on Facebook, I think, at one point back in like 2011 of all the ones I had from them.
Damn. No, I finally realized I can't keep up with this. I don't have the room for this. It's either the bottles or the kids. And the ex-wife.
How long did you think about that one, though?
Well, in retrospect, no, love my kids.
There you go.
No, I do love my kids.
Let's pour our second beers.
Oh yeah,
because I'm a little thirsty.
You start this time.
I will start this time. I will be drinking. You see, I've been wearing this Broken Goblet.
Yes.
Cap. I did visit Broken Goblet. All right.
I think it was me or Steve.
One of you.
Mute one of us. Who'd you mute?
I muted Steve. It's Steve.
It's Steve.
Yeah.
Steve, you done did something that's giving us a lot of feedback.
I'm trying to unmute him, and I can't, actually. Hello? Steve, if you can hear me, I think you can. I'm trying to unmute you, and it won't let me unmute you. Silence. You try and unmute it.
He's trying to talk.
Unmute yourself. Let me see something. Stay right there. Hang on. There we go.
There we go.
All right, there we go. All right.
Woo-hoo.
Sorry about that, folks. You gotta love technology. Gotta love technology.
All righty. So we're moving on to John's second beer.
There you go. My second beer. If you notice, I'm wearing a Broken Goblet cap. I went to paid a visit to Bensalem, PA last Saturday, and went to Broken Goblet. So I'm going to drink a Broken Goblet. It's the Fall of the Rising Guard. The Fall of the Rising Guard. I'll throw it up on the screen right there.
See, Broken
For those
Goblet,
of you Lord of the Rings nerds, you'll understand what that is.
I think there's like 5 owners of that place. They're all uber nerds.
Yeah.
And if you want to see what they look like, all you got to do is go into the 2 bathrooms, because in the men's room over the urinal, there's faces of 2 of them pointing down and laughing.
Yeah.
And in the women's room, there's the other 3 are sitting there going, watching.
Yeah, they're watching.
They're hilarious, but the reason it's got
Awesome.
the reason they got a special place in my heart is I'm a big nerd, and Star Wars is one of my big things. And when Episode 7 came out, before we all realized that it was going to suck, I watched the trailer there. So after so many years of hearing Chewbacca's roar again,
Cheers, by the way.
Cheers. Well, let me pour mine before I cheers you. Hearing Chewbacca's roar again, and doing it sitting in that brewery drinking some beer. So that's a dark rye, huh?
It's a dark rye ale, or a black rye ale, if you will.
Rye ale.
It's it's stout-esque, but it's definitely like a Cascadian Dark with rye. So it's very tasty.
Loving that.
And I love this glass too. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So it's a Tiku without a
Stemless Tiku.
Stemless Tiku. So there you go. So what do you got? What's yours?
I'm going stout.
You're going stout.
But I am going peanut butter stout.
Peanut butter stout. There you go.
So Gunner's Daughter by Mass Landing. They're out of Vermont, and they have
Maine.
Maine. Sorry, Maine. I know it's Maine.
Westbrook, Maine. I knew you knew that.
Just west of Portland. Mm-hmm. What's neat about this beer is, first of all, it's a fantastic peanut butter stout.
It is.
It's one of the best out there. But what it did is it caused all of New England to start to brew peanut butter stouts. Almost every brewery up there started making a peanut butter stout. Vitamin C did it. Even Trillium fell into it. Everyone started doing it because it was such a good beer and selling so damn well that everyone just started making it. So we got some fantastic peanut butter stouts out of New England because of this one. But this is the OG right here. Mm-hmm. So cheers, Johnny.
Cheers. Cheers, Steve, even though you don't have a glass.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Oh, that's very good.
It's making me jealous here.
There you go. Sorry about that.
I do love this beer.
That's very good. Very, very good. Well, while we're talking about stouts.
We're talking about stouts?
Well, you started, and I said it's stout-esque, and then you said you're drinking a stout, and then we were talking about New England stouts, and then peanut butter stouts. Why don't we discuss stouts in our top 3 list? What do you think?
Our top 3 list. Let's do it. Even though I don't have my third yet,
I'll
wing it.
You're going to wing it. All right.
But at least I have 2. I've got 2 more than at the beginning of the show.
This is true. This is very true. So our top 3 list tonight, if you haven't guessed, folks, is top 3 favorite stouts. Top 3 favorite stouts. We're going to let Steve, our guest tonight,
Now, there's a caveat to it.
There is what's the caveat?
Not barrel-aged.
Non-barrel-aged stouts.
And it's because Johnny and I are running out of ideas for top 3, so we want to reserve barrel-aged for another show.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
but it also works
stouts.
Because Steve, before the show, told us he's kind of over the barrel-aged trend right now. Right, Steve?
Right.
Yeah, I just, everybody was going crazy with barrel this, barrel that, and it's just, you would go in and you try to find them at the store, especially around here, and they're gone. So I just started going back to the regular stouts, and I've fallen back in love with just a lot of the regular stouts that people just look past and, don't think really too much of them anymore. And I'm like, man, that's some of the best beers right there.
Sure.
And they're just sitting on the shelf.
Well, then tell us what your top 3 are then.
Go for it.
I do love the Russian Imperial from North Coast.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, yes. That is a damn good beer.
That's
one
very,
of my
very
favorites.
tasty beer.
The other one, yeah. I do love the Anchor. Not Anchor, I'm sorry. Dang it, what is it? My mind is going blank right now. I can't think of Save my life. You were just talking about it earlier.
You didn't tell us earlier, so I can't help you. But
Great Divide.
Yeah, Great Divide, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Great Divide. I was like, man, my mind is going blank right now. Yeah, Great Divide. I love their stouts. I mean, they do make some good ones that are barrel aged, but even just the regular stout they have is pretty good for me. I mean, I can take those. And the thing with stouts is I know a lot of people like to drink them in the wintertime, especially down here in Texas. It's so hot, and a lot of people don't like to drink them. Man, I'd rather drink that than a Pilsner outside in the heat.
Yep.
And the thing about Yeti, I used to have Yeti on tap back when I smoked cigars because Yeti's on the harsher side of the stouts. The bitterness of the grains really play through in a Yeti. And so when you smoke a cigar with a Yeti, it turns the Yeti sweet. And that's not a sweet stout by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeti's not. Let's see, yeah. Even the oak barrel aged Yeti isn't as sweet as many other barrel aged.
I swear you could probably put lactose in a Yeti and it wouldn't be sweet.
Wouldn't be too sweet, yeah. So, I was going to point out to you before, and Matt just pointed out to the North Coast. You're talking about the Old Rasputin. That's the
Old Rasputin. Yep.
So.
Right.
And then what was
That's
your?
one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
And it's an easy
Oh,
one
such
to
a
go
good beer.
to,
Such a good
which
beer.
I do like a lot. I mean, there's some that, I like, where's this one here I'm looking at? I'm trying to find it. My mind, like I said, right now is just going straight over my head.
Well,
Because you're thinking about drinking because you're not. That's why. That's
I
all.
know, that's the thing is like when I'm drinking, I have it right in front of me. I can name them just like that. But right now I'm like not drinking. I'm sitting there watching y'all drinking these great beers. And I'm like, damn, my mind keeps going back to that.
There's something to be said for that. If I have one or two beers, I seem to have better access to my memory. About 12 or 13, it's gone though.
Then you're just playing around at that point.
Then it doesn't matter. Yeah. So
I do like the was it Dragon Milk?
Oh yeah,
New Holland.
New Holland's, yep.
New Holland.
Yeah, New Holland. I love theirs. Theirs is good.
That's tasty.
Even
that's another classic.
Beer. They have a white stout version of it too, actually.
Yeah, and see, like I was saying, I keep going back to just the regular stuff. This is just easier to find, and you can have it much easier than going out and trying to go to one place and next place and next place trying to find one special beer. I used to be that person that would go crazy trying to find them all, and I had a ton of beer at the house, but I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not doing this no more.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and find my regular beers and keep trying them. I will go out and find stuff. Like when I go to Chicago or LA or wherever the case I've gone, vacations to Seattle and stuff, I will drink more of the local stuff than I will stuff that you can't get here in Houston. And I'm going to drink your local stuff wherever I go. And I always go and ask the bars or the restaurants, you have anything local, give me that. What's your flavor, your type? I'll say either stout or porters or whatever you recommend.
Right.
And a lot of times they're like, oh, well, I recommend this. You come back and it's been a hit or miss sometimes with some of these people that you say, well, what do you recommend? Bring me what you like. And they bring me stuff back. And I'm like, okay, yeah, not my cup of tea.
Right.
Yeah, that happened. But hey, at least you've tried it.
This is true. So what are yours?
Well, I'm still
Would you like me to go?
Yeah, you go, because I'm still waffling on my third here.
All right. Well, I'm going to, in true log room guys fashion, I have 5 of my top 3.
Of course you do.
So I'm gonna
so this thing, Steve. What we will do is we will give our top 3, but there will be honorable mentions that didn't make the list, just so that we don't. Because here's the thing: we could have very easily done top 10s.
Right.
The show would be 2.5, 3 hours.
It would have been almost every single list we do could have very easily been top 10s. Not, without a doubt, but it would take too long to do it. So that's why we cut it down to top 3s. What it actually is we call it like the 33s section. It pays homage to the repeal of prohibition back in 1933. So we picked top 3s. That's why we did this.
There is one though that we did do that we actually, I think all 3 of the guests on the show did do 10, and that was Pilsners. Believe it or not. Favorite Pilsners. We must have mentioned at least 35, 40 Pilsners by the time the show was over.
Mind you, it was a top 3 list.
Top 3 list.
But in any event. All right, my top 3 favorite stouts. I'll say this. I'm going to give an honorable mention to one that actually isn't produced anymore. It hasn't been for 6 years now. And that would be Boak's Brewing Monster Mash.
Monster Mash, yep.
Yeah.
That's a hyper-local Jersey.
Yeah. But the local one that I will mention is one that I will just say the name of the brewery, not the first name, and that would be Carton of Milk. It's a very tasty milk stout brewed by Carton Brewing in Atlantic Highlands. So that's my number 3. Number 2. The reason I'm saying 2 for number 2
because you got to tie it first or tie it second.
No. It's tie it second. One is one. One is just one.
One is one. Yeah.
And both of these are flavored, if you will, stouts, but they're not barrel-aged stouts, and they're both milk stouts. One is Wretched from Finback, and the other one is Moment of Clarity from Treehouse. Both are phenomenal. If I had to pick one over the other, and it's damn close, it would be the Treehouse one. But I love the Finback as well. It's so good.
I don't think I've had the Finback.
It's very good. And the number one, my number one, and Dave will tell you, it's been my number one for many, 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 many years. Pesha Mortel. Bless you. Pesha Mortel from Duduchel in Montreal.
When I went up to Montreal a couple of years ago,
you had it at the brewery. And
I was like, "Are you going to the brewery?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to the brewery."
Giving you the finger through my phone so many times. Dick.
And I think I got a pour of it, took a picture, sent it off to him, and said, "You're not drinking this."
Yes, and I wasn't. And I actually went out. That night and bought a bottle and had.
But it wasn't on tap.
It wasn't on tap, but I did have it. I did have it once on tap, not at the brewery, but I did have it once on tap, and that would be at Spite and Dival in Brooklyn. So good. So such a good.
If you ever get the chance to come up here,
it's a 9.5% Imperial Coffee Stout, by the way, just to let you know. So.
You ever get the chance to come up here, Johnny and I will take you to Spite and Dival.
Absolutely.
You will think and then after that augurs well. And if you're not willing to die and go straight to heaven after that, we've not done our job.
Right. If you're ready, absolutely, that offer stands. Absolutely, 100%.
Like a plan for sure.
Absolutely. If you're not ready, our producer Matt gave us his top three. If you like,
I'm ready. We'll go to Matt.
We'll do Matt after yours. That's fine.
So so I got a tie at 3. This is what I was going back and forth on. One's a beer out of Pennsylvania. One of my early favorite breweries, Weyerbacher. And it's not the first stout they put out. It's the one that really took off. It's called Tiny.
Tiny's a good beer.
Tiny's a fantastic stout. It's just, and you can drink a bunch of them because it's not a high ABV to it. That's why they call it Tiny. It's such a good beer.
I had one on the show last fall.
Yes, you did.
I did.
He has drank a Tiny. And then what it was tied with, which is a much larger beer, is Cigar City's Marshall Zukov.
Oh, yeah.
That thing is a beast.
Yeah.
I love that beer. But, there's two that I like more. And speaking of beasts, I really have always sworn that this next beer, my number 2 slot, that the ABV has been understated on this because John's seen how I can drink, and I drank 4 of these things, and it floored me. And that would be Brooklyn's Black Chocolate Stout. Mm-hmm. They listed at what percentage? I forget what 10. Percentage. 10?
It's 10.
There's no way I drink 4, and I'm knocking over stools on the way out into the alley to throw up.
It's 10
ish. Sure it is. Oh my God! But it's such a good beer.
Right.
And maybe it's because I drank those 4 in about half an hour. Because it's such a good beer, they go down so quickly.
That'll do it.
But my number 1, and this is playing off one on Steve's list, of the Yeti series, and there's so many good beers in that Yeti series. The Espresso Yeti. Espresso Yeti to me is the coffee beer that set the standard for all coffee beers. We'd had some coffee beers before then, but when Espresso Yeti came out, that's exactly what a coffee stout was supposed to be.
Right.
Right then and there. And to me, every coffee stout that comes out now, that's the beer I judge it against, is Espresso Yeti, because it's just such a perfect dance between the bitterness of the coffee and the bitterness of all the malts. Whereas you get times where I had a coffee stout when I was in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And to me, it tasted like a sweetened cold pressed coffee. And those are the coffee stouts I don't particularly like. I want the ones where, it almost tastes like you're drinking Greek coffee, right? It's punching you in the face. That's what I'm looking for.
That's what you're looking for, yeah.
Let the bitterness fight it out. Let's go to a title round here.
There you go.
Man, it's just title bout, not a title round. Title bout. And
title bout, yeah.
Espresso.
Many rounds in the bout, so.
Yes, Espresso Yeti.
There you go.
That to me is of all the non-barrel aged. And the thing is, we have the caveat non-barrel aged, and there's some beers that would make the list, but I'm not sure if they're barrel aged or not. Like Intuition puts out a beer every year that I love called Underdark.
Well, let's put it this way: Wretched and Moment of Clarity. You would think that they were barrel aged. They're not. They're milk stouts that are flavored. There's maple in them, and you know me. Mm-hmm. I'm a whore for maple too. That's one of my favorite adjuncts in a stout.
Yeah,
so.
I love the maple.
Yeah.
Well, even Toppling Goliath, SR71. I don't know if that's barrel aged or not.
I'm not sure. I don't think it is. Because
if not,
I could be wrong, but I don't think it is.
because if not, that'd be my hands down number one. That thing's like drinking a Milky Way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, you make an imperial milk stout and you flavor it with whatever you're flavoring it with. It literally can taste like it can taste
a candy
like,
bar.
I mean, the key is making a milk stout, an imperial milk stout, and you and add your flavors or whatever you're going to do to it. That's what really gives it the feel of a it gives you the confusion that it could be barrel aged. Let's put it that way.
Listen, above your head there, do you have kid art above your head?
Kid art.
Oh, it's a picture of my father-in-law before he had passed away.
Gotcha.
Not before he passed away, but it was from my wife's.
Oh, okay. Because it's faded.
Back
It
in
looked
his
like it was like one of those
62.
like handprint arts.
Gotcha. Well, as far as our producer
no.
goes.
So what does Matt got?
Well, as far as our producer goes, he did want to say that he was at Weyerbacher last Friday. I knew he was over there. So,
and they've grown up. They've grown up nicely.
Pardon me. He did say that his top threes are as follows: Deschutes Obsidian, which is delicious.
That's
Is
a
absolutely
beautiful,
right.
beautiful
That's a
beer.
beautiful beer. Perennial Ales, Sump, and of course Deduchiel, Pêche Mortel. Agrees with me on that one, and he said he had several on tap in Montreal. Bite me, both of you.
We're gonna have to do a lager room.
Do a Montreal trip.
Yeah, lager room guys visit Montreal.
It works for me.
There's only 2 breweries we need to visit if we go there.
I've only been at one brewery in Montreal ever. Let's
Which
put it
was?
this way: I was at Montreal in 1986. So you tell me what brewery I was at.
Molson.
That was at Molson, yeah.
So we need to go. We need to do to Shiel, and I'm gonna blank on the other one. It was actually my favorite brewery when I was there. No offense to Shiel, but it'll come to me.
It'll come to you. There you go.
Talk amongst yourselves.
We'll talk amongst ourselves. Let me ask you a question. What are some of your favorite beer festivals down in Texas? Have you you know what? Before you get there, have you ever partnered with any beer festivals? Done anything at beer festivals? Done any work with them? Advertised them? Done any cooperation kind of thing with any beer fest down in Texas?
No,
Steve?
I haven't myself. I've put on beer tasting parties or beer tasting events at a brewery before, a couple breweries actually, when I first opened up. But it's been a while since I've done that. But no, I participating in them. No, we haven't really reached out to anybody. Texas laws are really funny about a lot of stuff.
Gotcha.
We're so far behind on a lot of states on our beer laws. It's kind of funny.
You just come to New Jersey and talk to us for a little bit. So.
Yeah, we've got them.
Right.
It's one of the few things our ex-fat governor. He's our ex-governor. He's not ex-fat. He's still fat. Did do for the state. He signed into law something that made it quite a bit easier to get a brewery open.
Yes, yeah, he did.
There were
in New Jersey. This was in September, Steve. This was in September of 2012. Prior to him signing this law, there were 10 or 11 breweries in New Jersey. Since then,
maybe a few more.
No, 10 or 11, maybe 12. It was right around there.
Well, because Carton and Kane were before the law.
So it was they were either 10 and 11 or 11 and 12. It's one of the
okay.
other. So whatchamacallit? So right after that, he signed that law into effect in September of 2012. So it's not quite 9 years yet. We have over 130 breweries in New Jersey. So
it exploded, and I just found the brewery's name in Montreal, Pit Caribou.
Pit Caribou. Matt just said there is a new brewery right in the old town that was very good, and it's called Les Soeurs.
I did not make it to Les Soeurs.
Les Soeurs. Les Soeurs. There you go.
No, I did not make it
My
there.
French isn't on today. So.
But Pit Caribou was man. Their sours, their stouts, their IPAs, right across the board, fantastic stuff. So, but maybe since Matt's coming with us to run the cameras,
of course,
we hit 3 breweries
and drink the beer.
Now, the one thing, Steve, because we started touching upon this a little bit when it comes to beer laws, in New Jersey, some of the beer laws were very, very relaxed during the pandemic. Breweries were allowed to deliver. Um, you could go to a bar, and there's a funny meme up here that says, back in the day, you couldn't walk out the front door with an open container. Now, you order yourself a hamburger. It's like, oh, would you like a margarita to go? They're just putting it on you.
Right. Same here now.
Yeah, so that happened down there too.
Yeah, during this whole entire wonderful time that we're all going through. Yeah, they changed it where you could order from your house. You didn't even have to leave. You can order your food and they'll deliver beer with you, or wine, or margarita.
There you go.
And it's been really nice because you didn't have to worry about driving and drinking and stuff. You just take off, order it.
When I was in Rhode Island, I would order online from Bayberry Beer Hall in Providence, and I'd go and pick it up, and they'd look at me funny because even though the amount of food I ordered was for one person, the amount of beer that I ordered with it, so to have one bag of food, 2 bags of beer.
There you go. You were thirsty. You ordered a lot of salty food, so you had to wash it down.
Well, it was their version of Nashville hot chicken, so yeah.
There you go.
Beer festivals here that you had mentioned, you were talking about, there really is only one. That's Big Texas Beer Festival up in Dallas. Okay. That's really, truthfully, the only one in Texas that, in my opinion, is worth going to. Gotcha. The other ones are kind of small. They're not really. They really have a selection. The way they run it, Chad, he does a really good job in running his, and it's grown quite a bit in the years that he's been doing it. And one thing about Texas, I know you've probably been to Great American Beer Festival up in Denver.
Denver, yeah.
He has. I haven't.
That one is really wonderful. I mean, that's probably the best that I've ever go to. I mean, but the thing is, you buy your ticket, you get in, you get an unlimited supply of beer that you can choose from. Absolutely. Here they give you tickets, 20 tickets for 1 ounce. And it's like $40-$50. So every time you run out of your tickets, you got to go buy more tickets. Right. And it can get pretty expensive,
So it's 20 ounces for $40. It's 20 ounces for $40. That's
right. $2 an ounce.
I'll take a ride to a few breweries in one day and spend less. There you go.
Wow, it's one of the few places where gasoline's cheaper than beer.
But
there you go.
That's one of the laws that Texas has, that I think it really hurts a lot of the stuff. But at the same time, I mean, you'll believe it or not, you'll have people showing up. It's like you do it at all the other beer festivals. Mm-hmm. They'll show up 3 sheets to a beer festival. And I'm like, hello.
You gotta love it.
I took a bunch of my friends to the Great American Beer Festival in 2010, and at the time, they were all diehard Coors fans, and that's all they talked about: Coors this, Coors that, and they wanted to go, so we went. And you've seen the line, how long it is to get in there, and it takes forever for it to open up. Well, they wake up at the hotel and they decide they're going to go down and start drinking screwdrivers.
Oh God.
Before the brewery,
then go to the beer festival.
And I'm
my God!
Yeah, and
you
can't
pregame GABF.
If I wanted to go with them,
maybe a beer
or
two.
Right. And I was
like, pregame beer festivals.
No, I'm not. I can handle it.
I have pregame beer festivals before. If I ever get to GABF, I will not be doing that.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
There's too much beer there to try, and even though they only give you 1 ounce servings, when there's 4,000 beers that you can choose from, that 1 ounce adds up pretty quickly.
It does. It's. And most of them, I got to be honest with you. Anytime I was at GABF or whatever, it's supposed to be, I always got bigger pours because breweries don't. Very few breweries will stick to the line.
Yeah.
That's good. Here you go. That's good. Here you go.
I got to say something real quick. Gunner's Daughter Peanut Butter Milk Stout with a banana.
Had to be fantastic.
That was amazing.
Absolutely. I'll have to do that the next time I get a can of it. I'll have to have a banana with it. Absolutely.
That is so good.
Matt has also written back, too. He said, also, microbrasserie Le Troy. I'm not even going to try.
Trois Musketeer.
Musketeer. makes great Belgians and a killer Baltic Porter, one of my favorite styles right there, Baltic Porters. And Dave, you know what makes a porter a Baltic Porter, right?
It's a lager rather than a
lager
ale.
rather than an ale, exactly. And he also said Unibrew is not too far away from Montreal as well. So
that's in Chambly, just the other side of the river.
We have a few things to do.
The thing about Unibrew, when it first came out, I thought it was a joke because I thought it was Unibrow. It's
I think a lot of us did.
Right? You can't visit the brewery. They have a brew pub.
Sure.
And that's
like
right.
that too,
But the reason you can't visit the brewery is because they had a tour. They used to do tours,
right.
And they had one batch go bad, and the brewers blamed it on the tour, that people weren't sterilized and all this. They blamed it on the tour, so they shut down all tours.
Did they have cool ships? Did they have open fermenters? I mean, what was their?
I don't think they did. I think there was Oompa Loompas, though. I don't know.
Somebody went swimming in a fermenter.
I don't know what the hell happened. But you can't actually tour the brewery. You can go into the office and say hi to people, and they'll be like, yeah, okay, now you need to leave.
There you go.
But they're Canadian, so they do it very, very politely.
Nice. Let me ask you. I got a question, non-beer related, but it's a very important question, and I've been waiting to ask. I'm going to ask Dave first, and then I will ask, of course, Steve. I'll ask Dave first. All right. I'll pose it to both of you. Dave, please answer first. Here we go. If you could eat bacon every day or be skinny for the rest of your life, would you choose hickory or applewood smoked?
Applewood smoked.
All right. There you go. No, not good. Is this thing on? Hello?
I would
Because that's a very serious question.
Applewood is good. Applewood is so good, though. But, man, I like the hickory, though.
Hickory's good, too, though.
Yeah.
My answer to that is both.
Or how about black pepper bacon?
Black pepper bacon, too. Applewood smoked black pepper.
Yeah.
Applewood smoked is very good.
Oh, yes. That's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Matt says, they are French-ish. Probably dropped a few cigarettes in the beer. There you go.
D-ropped. So
D-ropped.
He's Sasquatch fingered.
He Sasquatch fingered the word dropped. There you go. He D-ropped. How do you D-rop a few cigarettes? There you go.
Yeah, because if you pull up the menu for their, and I forget the name of the restaurant, that's technically their brew pub.
Right.
The menu's all in French.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're in Chambly, blah 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 blah
blah blah blah blah
blah blah blah blah, and it's
Je m'appelle Bleu.
Yeah. But it's we were talking about this, John and I, earlier about when Joey on Friends was trying to learn French. It was hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, it's all in French.
Come on, French it up.
And I love.
But I'd only been to Montreal one time, and that was back in 2007. And I can't remember the bar that we were at, but I was drinking a stout, and I looked over, and this lady was this huge mug, and she was drinking this Pilsner.
You're talking about her glass, not her face,
Her
right?
glass, not her face, right?
Yeah.
She had this huge mug on. I just didn't like it. I had to get out of it.
Sorry.
So.
And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what is that she's drinking? She came over and she was talking to me. Well, these two guys sat down next to me, and I'm sitting down, mind you, in this little bar stool. So they're standing up, and they wanted to know where I was from, and I told them I was from Houston. And the funniest thing in the world was he started talking about beer and everything else, how Americans can't drink beer and everything. Canadians can do it. The Americans only have weak beers. And I started laughing at him. And then he goes, you understand? He goes, you're a small guy like me. And I started laughing. So he wanted to take a picture of me when I was getting ready to leave, him and his buddy. And I stood up, and they were like below my chest. And I was looking at him, he goes, you're not a little guy. And I was like, no, I'm not a little guy. I was grown by junior high.
That's pretty funny.
So was the bar you were in called?
They wanted to drink, and they wanted to keep. Go what?
Oh, the bar you in, was it Brewtopia?
No, it was down below a bridge.
There's a lot of.
It was down. It was a really cool bar, though. Really, really cool.
There's a lot of
I just remember it took
punks.
forever to walk there, and we got down there. It was really.
I would imagine the French words for down below the bridge would be amazing for the name of a bar.
Oops, we just lost him.
We just lost Steve. So hopefully he picks that clicks that link again. But we're about ready to disconnect anyway. So
Bala Pont.
What was the name? What was the name you thought it was?
Brutopia. Brutopia has been one of
Brutopia, right?
Premier craft beer.
You know
bars.
what I'm saying though? Like the French words for down below the bridge have to be amazing for the name of a bar.
Below is ba. I forget what below is. On top is sur la. So if you're on the bridge, it's sur la pont.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah. As Joey would say.
So I don't know if we're going to get him back or not.
I will find out and ask.
Well, I'm messaging him right now.
What are you messaging him?
You coming back?
Pardon me.
Is that the Rona? You got the Rona?
No, I swallowed down the wrong pipe.
That's why you're popular.
Glad I said down the wrong pipe.
Well, he said yep, so he's trying to come back in.
There you go. Where'd he go? He's not there yet. All right.
All right.
Had to go to another screen. So anyway, up there he is. Yeah, you dropped out. There you go.
Yeah, we lost you briefly.
And Matt just told us.
I was saying, it just disappeared.
And Bas Dupont.
So I told you it's Ba.
And Ba Dupont. And Ba Dupont. That'd be a great name for a beer. A beer. A bar.
A beer.
A beer and a bar. And Ba Dupont.
Underneath the bridge.
Below the bridge.
Yeah, this one had a beard, so everything in there was. Everybody in there had a big, huge, full beards, and I mean, I was already drunk by the time I showed up to that one, but I mean, the whole time I was drunk in Montreal.
Doesn't that suck?
It was a great time, though.
I'd be sober. I'd be sober in the morning. By lunchtime, yeah, I was pretty tanked, and just walked around Montreal.
Sounds like lyrics to a song. I'd be sober in the morning, but by lunchtime I'd be tanked.
That's a good country western song right there.
Well, of course, you know.
Right.
Yeah. That sounds like a Hank Williams song. That's where I'm going with that one.
Hank Williams.
So anyway, all right. Well, I'm glad we got you back for a minute and a half. But anything you want to tell anybody as far as your groups go, as far as all 50 states groups?
Other than behave.
Other than behave. Is there anything else you want to tell them?
Really,
community-wise, I mean, you've really created a big community, cultivated a big community, and like the environment you fostered is really, really cool. With everything that's going on in most of the groups, I should say. And I'll take Ba Dupont down too. We don't need to keep looking at the name of the bar that we're gonna open in Montreal, apparently. But so, is there anything you want to say to them?
Other than just join, have fun. I mean, really, truthfully, that's what it's there for. It's just for people to have fun, grow the community, meet friends, enjoy the beer.
Yeah.
Help people who don't understand anything about beer. I mean, you have a lot of people that join these groups that are really new to it, and they ask questions, and they get ridiculed for asking questions. You know, because what cracks me up is you see some of these people that really, truthfully, have not been drinking more than maybe a year, and all of a sudden they're beer experts.
They know everything.
Yeah. And somebody asks a question, they just get made fun of. So it really discourages me, because that's not what I intended the group to be.
Sure.
I wanted it for everybody to enjoy and have a good time and be able to talk to people and find out what they like and where can you get this, where can you get that, and hey, where are they having the next festival? When does this bar opening up a new tap? You know, it's stuff like that, you know. And I just want people to enjoy it and have a good time and just keep going. Make the craft beer world better than what it was when I started almost 10 years ago. I mean, hell, who knew we'd all be sitting here today doing podcasts talking about craft beer 10 years ago? Because I sure didn't think it would be possible.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing what it's become. I mean, the craft beer community was always an awesome community.
Right.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, but it's just grown exponentially, obviously, with everything else the way it's taken off. But you know, and you don't need, and you know what? I mean, I'll go out on a limb and say, because I don't see every single group. I don't see every single community, so forth and so on, or subsect of the communities or whatever. But I'll go out on a limb and say that most of the people are genuine, and most will help you. Most will tell you, hey, you know what? No, you're wrong. It's this. You got to try this. You got to try that. You got to do this, that, you know what.
Yeah, except for maybe Jersey.
Well, that's another story. That's another story for an entire podcast just on that group. That's it.
We only talk about White Russians there.
Exactly. and we kind of had that podcast when Scott Wells was on the show back in March, or April, but that's beside the point.
Yes, we had one of your. We've now had two of your admins on. No, we've had three of your admins on the show, Steve.
Three. Yeah.
Well,
Scott
you might
Wells.
have another one. I'm going to try to set you up with one of my friends. I call him the Preacher Man.
Definitely do that, but because you've had Scott Wells, myself, and my brother.
Yep.
Oh, there wow, yeah, that's three.
So there you go. But in any event, it's few and far between. Those people that are, like you said, the kids that have been drinking for about a year and know everything. There's many more people in the community that are not them than they are. So, but yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, build the community, grow it, enjoy, share the experiences, share the stories, because the stories are great. The stories only lead to people, following your experiences and having their own, in your footsteps, so to speak.
And mentor, educate, don't
absolutely.
ridicule.
No, and I've met a lot of really cool people since I started the groups and going to different beer festivals, but mainly it's just a lot of the people reaching out and asking questions and stuff. When I first started, there's not so much reaching out now as there was when we first started, but it's definitely grown to the point where I've developed some pretty good friendships with people from it. I would never change it for the world. I mean, I enjoy it, and I enjoy watching these breweries grow, even though some of them are getting really big, and I still like just going to the small ones, just sitting back where it's less crowded. They still got great beer. They're struggling, and that's the reason why I wanted to help the small guy, get a chance to get out there and let people know what they make and where they're at, instead of having them struggle to pay a ton of money on advertising when it's free here.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. All right. That sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank y'all for inviting me.
It was a great time. Absolutely. Don't hang up. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk to you after the show. We're just going to wrap up. I can do the spiel, so to speak.
The spiel. This. Pay attention. This is impressive, because now you have more podcast groups to announce now, don't you?
No. Because it's still the same social media. It's still the same social media. So it's all the same.
I thought you put us on more stuff.
Well, we did, but at the moment it's still the same. So I haven't adjusted that yet. So it's all good.
Same.
So anyway, so we'll wrap the show up for today. Anyway, we want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lageroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night at 6:30. This week was an exception. We had to go to Thursday night because of Mr. Samurai.
One of us has to work.
One of us has to work, so there you go. Anyway, it's usually every Tuesday night at 6:30. Anyway, for those of you that just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and Stitcher. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a wonderful rest of your week and a great Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. It's the gentleman on this show plus all the others that are listening. In any event, happy Father's Day to both of you as well.
Father's Day to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve, for coming on. I appreciate it. And thanks
Absolutely.
for all that you're doing with all of those groups. It's amazing. Keep it up, and anything we can do to help, we will be more than happy to help you. Absolutely. Enjoy, and we will talk to you soon, guys. Cheers.
And keep cool down there.
Yes, keep cool in Texas.
I'm trying. I've got the
I hear
car on low right now.
getting up to like 75, 76 degrees now, right?
They're approaching 100 down there.
In your car.
Right in my car, I'm sitting. It's at 93 at 7:30 at night.
Outside though, not inside the car, right?
No, inside it says low. That's the only thing I got in my AC.
Low.
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 All right.
Well, enjoy, and we'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Cheers,
Good
guys.
night, folks.
Good night.
They found him face down in his waffles, maple syrup dripping from his fake rug. Who did he see when he heard who was there? Now it seems that he shit out of luck.